A big thanks to Cheddo Chef for sponsoring this episode.
Cooking on a flat top griddle is the bomb in the summer of 2023, and I'm gonna show you my favorite way to do it. Most people think flat top grilling is having a big surface with a couple of gas burners underneath, but there's so many more ways to do it. For instance, this wood-fired flat top griddle. I grill very often, so this is from the last cook, which was last night. And it's a bit messy, but I'm going to show you how I like to clean this up. This is birch wood, and it's the same wood that matches are made of. I'm going to chop it up into smaller pieces, and that's going to be the kindle for my fire. I'm building it up in a square until I have a small tower. Then I'm going to put some fire starters underneath and light it up. This is the basis of my fire. Once it's burned down enough, I'm going to add a hardwood. And here you can see the difference between birch that I used as kindle and beech. And while my flat top griddle is getting up to temperature, we are going to focus on this. Yes, it's ugly. If you know, then you know. You've already recognized it. This is the hanger steak. It has long grains, fantastic intermuscular fat, and it's just packed full with flavor. So what you and I are going to do to this steak is make it look good. This is the PitmasterX barbecue beef rub, and you can find the recipe for this rub on our website PitmasterX.com. This is minced meat. 500 grams of the minced beef, 1 egg, and 2 tablespoons of the barbecue beef rub go into a bowl, and then I'm gonna go in with my hand and mix it up. Once everything is mixed, it's time to add breadcrumbs. This is going to turn my minced meat into a meat dough. I added about a 1/4 cup until my dough felt sticky and dry. My first thought is to take this steak, roll it up like this, and then stuff it up with minced meat and stick it onto a skewer, like this. Now this is a skewer with 2 pins that will give some sturdiness to the steak, so that if I grill it over the fire, I have control over it and it will not fall apart. The next step is to season this steak. I'm going to use the same rub, which is the barbecue beef rub, that consists of some salt, paprika, onion, garlic, and a little bit of pepper. I'm going to take half of the minced meat and make a meatball. So you want to rotate it while you're compressing it, and then in your hand start rolling it up. And that's how you create a very tasty, easy meatball. And now I'm going to take this, put it in my steak. There we go. Fold the steak around, and as you can see, that's not perfect. Come on, let's be real. Even though I'm calling it the Frankensteak, it is still not that good looking. What I want to do is take a little bit of that beef off, like that. Now it's already getting better. This is something that I like to see. Let's put this on the skewer, and as I want to secure this opening, that's where I'm going to start with my 2 pins. Get them in, go all the way through. There we go. Flip it around, and that is what I call a good looking Frankensteak. As ugly as can be, but great meat and a lot of flavor. I'm going to do the same thing to the other steak. Before we can start grilling, we need to clean our grill. It looks bad. Flat top griddlers, high five! First thing that we're gonna do is get rid of the big bits, the big gnarly chunks of food that are still on the grill plate. And because the grill is already hot, everything burned down into carbon and is real easy to remove. All the big chunky bits are gone. Now it's time for the second phase, which is brushing off the finer bits, the dust. Just take a wire brush and start getting rid of that top layer. Brush back to the bone. Now we got to get rid of the dust that sits on top of it, because look at everything that came off. That's a lot of debris. And here comes the magic that I almost never ever show anybody. I got one of these, and I'm just gonna get rid of that fine dust. Brush it into the fire, and it's going to make my grilling surface so perfectly clean. Get it ready, do it right, and then you'll enjoy the grilling so much more. Now I'm going to take some oil. In this case I'm using a peanut oil, and I'm applying a thin coat of that peanut oil onto my cooking surface. See that oil so hot, it starts boiling and then it catches fire. That is crazy hot. And for me, this is a perfect moment to figure out where are my hot spots. It depends a lot on where the embers are, where the wind's blowing. And once I got it seasoned, I know exactly where those hot spots are, and I exactly know where my cold spots are. And you can see it. This is still the original color of the plate, and this is a hot seasoned plate. And here we have a hot spot where it's completely burned off the seasoning. That's how hot this part is. So that's crazy hot, that is hot, and this is nice and cool. Look at that. It already looks way better than just the steak itself. And I know that seasoning is gonna be so delicious on this. It's gonna empower the whole steak and make it taste better. The idea of a flat top griddle is that you have a surface that will keep the moisture and the fat on the griddle top so that you basically fry your steak. The outside crust is gonna be so freaking amazing, and it's going to be totally different than cooking a steak in a pan. A little bit of oil to get it started, steak on. That is the sound of joy. You have the sound of music, we have the sound of joy. So before all of this is cooked, we're going to be well over half an hour. So you and me have plenty of time to cook up a sauce. Of course, I'm going to utilize that heat, put my Skottsberg pan on the flat top griddle and start by making my Tweety sauce with half a cup of ketchup, followed by half a cup of sweet chili sauce, 2 tablespoons of rum, a tablespoon of Worcester sauce, and a tablespoon of the Tweety barbecue rub, for which you can find a recipe on PitmasterX.com. And if you want to check out the recipe for this sauce as well, we've written it all down for you to enjoy. Stir it up, let it come to a slow boil, and your barbecue sauce is ready. Well, here comes the flip. Whoa, look at that crust. That is absolute crust perfection. We got a beautiful texture of crunchy bits with fat bubbling in between it, building up flavor on that crust, and oh my, if you could just smell this. It smells so freaking good. We just built up this freaking amazing crust, and you can see that the heat on the plate is utilized to perfection, where we have seared everything off. We got the flames, it looks magnificent, but now there are still some spots where it's pink, so you know this steak is nowhere near cooked yet. So now we need to actually cook the whole steak. But I'm now gonna place it to a cooler spot on the grill to let this steak slowly and gently get up to temperature. Now, of course, I'm rotating the steak regularly, so when I flip it, the other sides get an opportunity to heat up. And what I regularly do is measure the core temperature so that I'm sure that my steak is cooked enough. Now, this steak is cooked enough because it's smaller, but this one isn't. So what I'm going to do is finish off this steak first, and I'm going to do that by brushing on some of that Tweety barbecue sauce. Just a light coat, not too much, just to give it a little shine. Now this steak is done, so I'm getting it off, putting it on the cutting board. Look at that beautiful crust with a little bit of sauce and a little bit of rub. This looks freaking amazing. Now let's slice into it and take a look on the inside. Whee. Minced beef underneath, steak on top. Cheers, guys. Oh. Freaking delicious. So good. The flavor, it's as good as it gets.